thing. Football's back, and if you can't get excited for football in August, I got nothing for you, big guy. The big guy is excited. Guy in the back is excited. SHIPIT Nation is excited, and darn it, you better be excited too. So let's get started. Everything that SHIPIT Nation has to offer you in 2024. I hope you saw what an incredible year it was at SHIPIT Nation in 2023 for NFL season. And if you're thinking to yourself, I want all that again, well, don't worry. You're going to get it all and more. We have an entire team over here at SHIPIT of just the sweatiest tryhards you've ever met who are ready to offer you every single thing you need for every single slate, including the stack rankings, the DVP rankings, slate plans, player pools, every single thing. And oh yeah, if you don't know, all the stuff that I did at my site last year, DGen75, is now over at SHIPIT. I told you were going to get everything we offered and then more. So it's no surprise that at SHIPIT Nation, they had 3 Millionaire Maker winners last year, over 2 dozen six-figure winners, and a handful of game-changing hits from our community. But what is it that I'm bringing over from DGen75 that's so special? Well, first of all, this thing called the Stone. If you don't know, I invented this for college football to try to help everybody, and now it has just turned into the best tool in all of DFS. You want my ownership and my projections. You want to know who's a good cash play, who's a good GPP play. I put it all into one place called the Stone. I do this for PGA. I do this for college football. We do this for NFL. And here's the best part. You get all of this in one place in addition to everything that SHIPIT Nation is already offering. You're still getting your Tambo, your Hoop, your Marley, your Title, your Hamwich. All of those guys, the sweatiest tryhards, are now there, and you get this in addition to the tools. And here's the best part. None of it is an upsell. It's all the same price, if not cheaper than everybody else in the community, and you're getting double the tools. This is what we do at SHIPIT. We want you spending your money on your contests and not on your content. So if that NFL Stone caught your eye, let me tell you about the college football Stone. I know a lot of you are saying college football is not even legal in 20 states. Yeah, but that means it's still legal in 30. And I am telling you, college football DFS is the next sport that's coming up. If you're intimidated by it, you don't know anything about it, well, don't worry. I have a Stone right here that tells you what's a good cash play, what's a good GPP play, ownership, projections, everything you need, just like we offer for NFL. This was a big part of the merger when DGen came over, is I wanted to bring this over to SHIPIT Nation so people can see how fun college football DFS is. And you're thinking to yourself, man, I don't want to pay no $300 for no college football package. Well, don't worry. We don't separate our packages. We only have a football package. NFL and college football are one package, and here's the best part. Even if you just want to play NFL, our package is already cheaper than all of the competition, and you're basically just getting college football for free. So why in the hell would you not want it? It is an awesome tool. I have the sweatiest tryhard team behind me. College football DFS is a great little addition, and we don't upcharge it because, once again, put your money into your contests and not into your content. So what is this great price, and how does it compare to the competition? Well, let's just put up a chart, Bob. Here you go. You can see that we don't break it into a bunch of packages. We just have a football package, which includes both NFL and college football for $299. Here's the best part. You sign up before September 5th, we're going to give you free run of the entire website, MMA, PGA, MLB. You can be doing all of that stuff all the way up till September 5th just on us, because that's what we do to take care of our members. Not to mention, when you look at this, just start comparing the price. You are literally going to be saving hundreds if not thousands of dollars during the season. That is things you could be putting into your DraftKings and FanDuel lineups and not wasting, giving it to your touts and paying for shit that you don't need. Pay for what you deserve and get quality. That is what we offer here at SHIPIT Nation. 2024 has been a magical year for SHIPIT Nation. The merger between SHIPIT Nation and DGen has gone better than we could have ever expected. Just look at the success across NASCAR and PGA, MMA, MLB. All of the sports out there have been incredible, and now we're going to carry it over to this football season with NFL and college football, and we are going to blow your hair back by giving you the best product at the best price out there. We're also going to teach you about sustainability, about how to play DFS sustainably so you can be there long enough to hit those wins, to get those big hits. We don't care if it's $50, $500, $5,000. We want you to play long enough until you can hit it, and we can do that by giving you great tools at an affordable price, and that is our mission here at SHIPIT Nation. Come be a part of the most incredible community out there. Come be a part of a place that teaches you how to win, and come be a part of a place that celebrates your wins and not fucking moderators' wins. It's been awesome. 2024, the year of SHIPIT Nation. Come join the nation. It's going to be special in 2024. I'm out, you motherfathers.
Come join the nation. It's here. Football on the horizon. We're going to celebrate your wins, not effing moderators' wins. Oh, my Jesus. Happy Monday. We're back, the Bookend Squad, here on this Monday afternoon to send your Monday blues to the wayside, because there's money to be made. There's 9 games in the MLB streets here tonight. If that video there by our guy DGen, prayers out to him. Hopefully everything stays going good with his health situation going on. Appreciate everybody surrounding him. But, man, that energy there has got me hyped up for football season. College football on Saturday, man. Hamwich, we got college football on Saturday. That's right. This Saturday, we got football shortly approaching overall, man. How was your weekend? What's going on, brother? Happy Monday.
Yeah, no, happy Monday. Yeah, great video. Great insight from our guy, DGen, as always. And I blushed a little bit, man. My guy Hebrew, trying to take after him. Said the beard's looking nice. I'm kind of jealous. Not jealous, blushing. Trying to be after like that guy. He's about to win $1 million this weekend. So appreciate him tuning in. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hey, Nades, I got me a new little passion I got going on, man. Some pickleball. You're probably too young to be playing pickleball yourself, but, man, I love me some pickleball. It's fun. Did that a lot this weekend. So, yeah, let's dive into these 9 games. I think we got some I know I'm going to have some different takes, especially when it comes to pitching tonight than you.
Yeah, I mean, pickleball, nothing says pickleball more than those gray hairs in that beard. I mean, the beard does look good, but yeah, I mean, it was negative 550 in Vegas for Hamwich to say pickleball with that gray beard he's rocking there. Not for me. I'm out on the links, ripping it up, firing dots, making birdie putts out there. Love me some golf. Ain't got much time for pickleball. Maybe when I'm a little bit older and can't swing those sticks anymore, I'll pick up a sport like Hamwich has got there with the old pickleball. But yeah, good luck to Hebrew this week, and hopefully he ships that $1 million. Good luck to anybody else out there in that live final for DraftKings this weekend in baseball. Let's look to dial it in as we lead up to that. Obviously, we got everybody covered all week long, all season long, like we've had. Before I do that, NFL shortly around the corner. There is still best ball. There is still time to get in the best ball streets. Our partners over at Drafters, use that promo code SHIPIT. Gets you a 100% deposit bonus. Hey, free $100. You can never complain about free money in your pocket. New members, throw in $100. You get $200 to play with there. Got a $3 contest or a $2, I think, a smaller contest, and then a $15 or $20 best ball contest over there. Haven't looked too much overall, but we do have best ball rankings right here at the Nation for you. Plenty of shows right here on this channel as well. See if you can take down Title Crown, take down Marley, take down the rest of the squad in the best ball streets over there. Had a couple guys in the chat. Rance is in here. Parabay's in here. Damon's in here. Hebrew Cheetah, my guy. Rio, Kenny. How's everybody doing in the chat? I see Rance talking about might sign up. Saber Sim's kind of tricky. Rance, I'll tell you what, come give us a try over here. We got our in-house shiptimizer for all sports, mainly NFL, obviously MLB, fully live, very easy. There's plenty of tutorials to help you out. But not only that, you don't just get access to the optimized, you get access to all the premium content and education courses as well for all the main sports that help you and guide you through how to play DFS, not just, hey, here's our picks, here's our plays, give us your money and have a nice day kind of thing. We all want to create better players and give you guys more content and overall improve the profitability or help to try to improve and make you guys profitable players out there. So let's jump in, Hamwich. You talked about pitching and you talked about liking a little bit of different pitchers. Obviously, you must have checked out my slate plan that I had published over here at the Nation for the members, but we're going to go 8K and above. There's a couple guys up here. It's Tanner Houck, Brian Wu, Kikuchi, Gosman, Taj Bradley, Lugo, and Michael King is the pool up at the top. Michael King and Kikuchi are going to be definitely the focal point of the pitching slate today. Those are the two quote-unquote chalk, if you will. After them, ownership really doesn't matter too much. I mean, Gosman's going to pick up some ownership. Taj Bradley, Lugo are going to get some ownership. But outside of King and Kikuchi, ownership is going to be pretty spread. There's a lot of guys up here that I think you could make a case for. But overall, how do you rank this top tier for you, 8K and above?
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of the same pitchers you do. I just think I rank them a little bit differently than you. I mean, I'm going to start with Seth Lugo. I actually like Seth Lugo tonight a little bit better than Michael King. I mean, he gets to take on this abysmal Los Angeles Angels ball club that's just striking out almost a 30% clip over the last 14 and 30 days versus right-handed pitching. They're not very good anymore. Obviously, Trout's been missing a vast majority of the season, and they're just not any good. 7 home runs in the last 300 plate appearances against righties. Lugo was an all-star And I feel like every time he has a good game, every time he has a bad game, it's against the Red Sox. Obviously, not playing the Red Sox tonight, so I actually really like Seth Lugo tonight a ton. I also like. Let's talk a little bit about Michael King. I don't love him as nearly much as our projections do, but our projections have been absolutely spot on. Number one, projection wise in our projections over here. But at $10,000, I mean, this Twins team, they don't strike out a whole ton, right around 20%, and they got some dangerous bats that scare me. So I'm a little bit lower on King than maybe most. Do like Taj Bradley tonight. Gets to take on this Oakland team. Gets a great pitcher's ballpark upgrade right at night. Out in Oakland, should be cooler than normal, and it's tough to hit bombs there. The A's do hit bombs, and Bradley's been bad. So I think you'll have some people on Bradley, and I think you'll have some people on the A's as well. But I'm team Bradley tonight. I like him, and then Gausman and Kikuchi. Definitely got to have interest in both of those guys as well. Red Sox absolutely struggle against lefties. Kikuchi's been dynamite since being traded over there. To Houston, and then I would cut it off at there if we're talking 8K and above. No Woo for me going up against LA. No Tanner Houck for me going up against this Astros team. Although that Astros team, they really struggled this weekend, Nades. I don't think Bregman played. I know he didn't play Saturday and Sunday, and then Yordan might even set out yesterday. But for me, in this 8K and above, I'm going to focus on Lugo. I like him the most, followed by Bradley and King would kind of be 2 and 3 up there for me.
So no Kikuchi for you, huh?
Well, I mean, I like Lugo better than Kikuchi.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just figured I'd throw it out there. Yeah. Great breakdown. I'm with you. I do like Lugo, but at the price point, I just think I'd get to try to get up to King. I mean, this Twins team does strike out more on the road, and they hit for less power on the road as well against right-handed pitching. So I think King is fine at 10K. I don't love it, though. Like I said, I mean, I think there's 4 or 5 pitchers on this slate here that can all be the highest scoring pitcher by far on the slate. I mean, it's not a clear cut. Oh, my God, we got elite Spencer Strider, right, of years past where it's pretty hard to miss, or a Paul Skeens, right, of earlier this season. That's not the case on tonight's slate. So pretty much, yeah, like I wrote it up in the slate plan, I mean, if you have a different vision of these pitchers than us, or even like myself than Hamwich does, that's perfectly okay. I mean, for me, Kikuchi is my favorite pitcher at 8,500. This Red Sox team, especially on the road against left-handed pitching, just K's a ton. Kikuchi's been pitching great right now. Is at home with Houston. Obviously, he's no longer in Toronto there. He is in Houston. Red Sox team, 27% strikeout rate for this projected lineup on the road this season. They do have power, but if he can get around some of those lefty mashers, right, like Tyler O'Neill, Rob Refsnyder, who's a splits guy that should be in there against lefties, if he can get past some of those guys, Romy Gonzalez, I think there's tons of strikeouts to be had there. 8,500, I like the price point. He's my favorite SP on the slate. I put him above King at the $1,500 salary savings. I do think King is solid. I like King. He's probably my SP2 on the slate. Like I said, this Twins team does strike out more. They hit for less power on the road. It is still overall a tricky matchup, but none of these guys are really bulletproof by any means. I do like Seth Lugo as well at 9,500. It's tough for me because I like Bradley, to your point, right, against those A's for me. So up in this top tier, it's really 4 guys. It's King, it's Lugo, it's Bradley, it's Kikuchi. I'm not playing any Kevin Gausman. When we get to the bats, I actually like Cincinnati against Gausman. That's the first game we'll talk about in terms of bats. I'll tell you why there. And so I'm out on him. I'm out on Brian Wu, not picking on these Dodgers. I like the Dodgers bats a little against Brian Wu as well. And then I'm not playing any Tanner Houck in Houston against those Astros guys. So those 4 guys at the top for me, I put Kikuchi number 1, and then it's pretty close, number 2, 3, and 4 behind that with King, Lugo, and Bradley. Ownership doesn't matter too much outside of King and Kikuchi. Ownership overall on the slate doesn't matter too much, so not going to really use that as a deciding factor. I like all 4 of those guys quite a bit. Let's jump down below 8K. I do think there's interesting arms. Some of these arms are getting talked about in the chat down here, but 8K and below, I think, if you need to save some salary, you can't get all the way up to the top, or you need an SP2. You go in that like a Lugo, a Bradley, or Kikuchi, and then you can't get all the way up to like a King or one of the other guys. You need to come down here Kyle Harrison, talk to me about Kyle Harrison. He's interesting. Gavin Stone gets a good strikeout matchup against the Mariners, but Mariners are hitting the baseball pretty good. Gavin Stone overall isn't a great pitcher by any means in terms of strikeouts. Talk on those two, and then I like me some Zebby Matthews in this scary matchup against the Padres. I have talent, and I believe this kid is talented. I believe he has upside despite the matchup. I like him as a pivot off of the Kyle Harrison, who likely picks up a decent amount of ownership because he does have that pitiful matchup against those White Sox, who I believe broke the record for the first team in baseball to be fully eliminated from the playoffs in the second week of August in the season. So talk to me, Harrison, Zebby Matthews, Gavin Stone, and then anyone else down here you have interest in for a pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, I think this range normally, Nate, it's tough to find a guy or two that we really like, but I think 8K and below, there's several. Well, let's start with Kyle Harrison. I think Harrison's in a great spot today. Gets to take on this White Sox team that's hit one home run out of their last 170 plate appearances against left-handed pitchers. Not to say that this kid is Framber Valdez, but we saw exactly what lefties can do to this White Sox team yesterday. And so I think Harrison can go in there and mow them down again. Obviously out there in the Bay, got a great pitchers park. I think Harrison's a great play and a great price at 7,900. I'm with you on Gavin Stone. You got this Mariners team that we've really picked on this Mariners team all season long with righties as they just struggle with the strikeouts. Now, Gavin Stone is not a true strikeout pitcher per se, but I think he can hold his own at $7,500. I personally never like, this Mariners team, played in Pittsburgh yesterday, flew all the way to LA, no night off. Hey, they've been out on the road a week or so. I'm going to take me some Gavin Stone. And then I like Joe Boyle a little bit. And once again, not a true strikeout, right? Not a true strikeout pitcher. But the Rays are bad, right? And so give me some Joe Boyle against this bad Rays team. And then the last two I want to touch on, they're kind of gross, Nate. So cover your ears. Jonathan Cannon taking on this San Francisco team. San Francisco, absolutely pitiful over the last 14 days versus righties. And I like Cannon in that park. And then Jose Urena, similar story to these Pirates, been terrible over the last 14 days versus righties. I think both of those are in play at 6,200 and 6,000. If you need the money, would be kind of my gross two plays. But I don't mind Cannon or Urena tonight.
I believe it's Dane Dunning now, right, for Texas?
Okay.
Yeah, so I do like
that alert come through. You're right.
Yeah, I actually do like Dane Dunning as well. At 6,600, I believe Dane Dunning is on DraftKings. I think he's going to get some ownership as an SP2, but for a good reason. To the same point, right? Your point isn't a mute point, regardless of. I do like Dane Dunning a lot more than I would have Jose Urena in 2024. So I will say that makes your point overall better. But yeah, it's still the matchup against the Pirates. So Dane Dunning is going to go for Texas. I think he's an interesting option. Joe Boyle, I think, is an interesting option that you made out there. He's not a great pitcher by any means, but 21% strikeout rate. It is a good pitcher's ballpark there in Oakland, and this Rays team on the road, 26% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. So, well, he's not a huge strikeout arm. He's right around a little bit below league average, right? League average is right around 23%. He's at about 21% over the course of the season at home. And this Rays team, tons of strikeouts there. So I don't mind that call. Jonathan Cannon, I think, is if you need the actual savings, but with Dane Dunning at 6,600, I don't think you need $400 to go up against the Giants. I actually don't mind some of these Giants power guys against Cannon, despite the terrible ballpark there. So for me, no Cannon. When you have Dane Dunning, $400 more, ownership really doesn't matter too much. So I'm out on that, but I do like your take there on Joe Boyle. I think that's an interesting guy in this range. And then my other sleeper, like I said, is Zebby Matthews against this Kings, not this Kings, but on the other side of the King chalk against these Padres. So I think he's good. Kyle Harrison, obviously great play. Gavin Stone's interesting, and then Boyle and Dane Dunning. So overall, I mean, I think you could get away with avoiding the top tier pitching too, to be honest. I mean, because like the chat was talking about, what a time we live in. Kikuchi's SP1 on the slate. Well, it is the price, it is the matchup, but like everyone else is saying, right, Boston got to him last time. I don't use past history really to sway my breakdowns or interpretation too much, right? That's the historical game log watching, right? Everybody loves to click those game logs and see what have you done for me last time, or it doesn't matter. It's all about what are you going to do for me tonight. I think Kikuchi's a good play, but I get the reasonings. But any of these guys, I mean, at the top tier, it's just overall pitching is pretty watered down, pretty weak. That's why we're seeing 40% King and 40% Kikuchi ownership on this 9-game slate. That's a lot of words, a lot of breakdown in terms of pitching. I think there's a lot of different ways to go. We just told you could have went any different way you want. I know it doesn't help too much, but let's try and narrow it down to 4 or 5 guys here. Hamich, who's your top 4 or 5 pitchers on the slate?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to try to get Seth Lugo on my main team if I can. I haven't started building yet, but I really like Seth Lugo tonight as he'll be number 1 for me. Number 2 would be I'm going to go Taj Bradley, number 2 for me. And then number 3 would be Michael King. And 4, I'm going to say Kikuchi. I always get scared playing Kikuchi, but yeah, give me Kikuchi number 4.
Yeah, I agree with you. Kikuchi's always a gross roster. It's tough, right? But I like the numbers. I like the matchups. I get it, right? Weighted runs created plus, everything like that. Boston's numbers. There's still strikeouts. You play a pitcher for strikeouts, and that's what I'm attacking here. So Kikuchi's my SP1 at the price point. Seth Lugo, I'm with you. I like Seth Lugo there, but I'm going to put King number 2. Obviously, those 2 guys are the chalk. I get it. But Kyle Harrison's going to be 3 for me. I like Kyle Harrison. I'll go Zebby Matthews 4 as a contrarian guy. And then Gavin Stone or Dane Dunning as my 5th guy for some salary savings, because I do think there's a case to be made to play 2 guys below 8K and just go for whatever bats you want on the slate. Because like I said, the pitching up at the top, they're definitely not bulletproof by any means. So let's jump in, talk hitting. We're going to talk this first game on the slate here. As far as weather across the compass, across the slate, really no weather concerns. So that's nice to see on a 9-game slate. Really don't need to worry about weather overall. This first game, though, the Reds in Toronto, Gausman on the hill. This rookie for the Reds is making his debut. I believe as of late, I don't think they switched it to a bullpen game. This Julian Aguilar guy is basically a average AAA pitcher right now. He's got good stuff. He has talent, but he is making his major league debut, major league start against a Blue Jays team. Blue Jays going to garner a decent amount of ownership in terms of bats because of that reason. Are you going to play any Blue Jays? And then on the other side, I think Cincinnati. I think it's the Cincinnati night. The reason I think so, Gausman over the last 2 seasons has been one of the worst pitchers in baseball, top 3 worst for stolen bases against. The Reds currently number 2 behind the Brewers in terms of stolen bases on the season. These Reds don't need to hit home runs here tonight to gain fantasy points. Ellie De La Cruz, I mean, I saw it. He had 3 steals yesterday or the day before. I saw that come through. A lot of these guys on this Reds team will run if they get the opportunity to. So they can rack up fantasy points quick. I like some Cincinnati here tonight for sure.
Yeah, Cincinnati. I had Cincinnati yesterday. Cord Cincinnati. They let me down big time, Nades, and not recency bias, but it's more Kevin Gausman. I think Kevin Gausman gets the best of him tonight. Won't be playing any Reds. I mean, if you wanted to get some Ellie, obviously he's a dynamic player. You could certainly one off Ellie. And then on the flip side, I don't think any Jays for me. I mean, chalky Jays aren't very strong. And just looking at their numbers, I mean, they don't profile well at home versus righties outside of Vlad. And so I think I'm going to be lower on the Jays than most. Might have a Vlad one-off and then, Ellie one-off on the other side as well. But, I mean, Ellie's striking out over 30% on the road versus righties, not good. So, give me a one-off Vlad in this game would be kind of where I go, Nate.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you. I just give more credit to these Reds because Gausman, if you look at Gausman's numbers, especially over the last month too, his walk rate is up to both sides of the plate about 10%. What happens when you start walking guys? They get on base. What happens with the Reds? They steal bases, especially against Gausman. So not to mention he's got a 15.5% strikeout rate over the last month. His strikeouts have dropped off tremendously. He's got some power, especially against righties, and some fly ball concerns to both sides of the plate. So the Reds have power. They have fly ball hitters throughout this lineup, and they have guys like Ellie De La Cruz, who's got 59 stolen bases on the season. Obviously, he's a great play. Spencer Steer will steal bases. Fraley will steal bases. Will Benson will steal bases. Obviously, he's not in that lineup tonight, but Fraley's in there. Steer is in there. I Obviously, Ellie's in there. That's 3 guys right there. Build around those guys and then stack them up. So I like these Reds. I think they're going to be super low owned. And I will take the Reds to outscore the Blue Jays at significantly lower ownership here tonight. So that's the take I'm going with. Obviously, you can play Vlad. I think Vlad's a great one-off there. But I'm not going to get on a chalkier Blue Jays stack on a 9-game slate when I like some of the chalk pitchers on the fear of the unknown with the Reds could just go out, throw this guy 2 innings, and then go to a bullpen game. And I never like attacking bullpen games either way. Next game on the slate, I think, is another interesting one here. It's the Mets on the hill, David Peterson on the hill, Trevor Rogers on the hill, who both of these pitchers have regressed back to their usual selves. Over the course of the season, they were what numbers would say good pitchers, right? They obviously regressed back over the last month. I think this is an interesting game. I like both of these offenses a lot. The Orioles side is going to be significantly lower owned against David Peterson here. Both of these guys do have a tendency for ground ball lean overall, but I think this is an interesting game where not a lot of people get to it. I like the Mets more, but I do have the Orioles up there in my top 5 as well. I like both sides here.
Yeah, you nailed it. 2 southpaws on the hill. Generally speaking, I like to pick on the Orioles when there's a lefty, but David Peterson doesn't scare me that much. Adley Rutschman would be my favorite Oriole. He's batting second tonight, which I like, followed by Anthony Santander batting cleanup tonight. So I love that. I mean, Austin Slater is going to be a very popular cash game play. I'm thinking 2, maybe 3 ABs for him at the most. So I don't have a ton of interest in him outside of saving some salary. It would definitely be Adley for me, number 1, Santander, number 2. Then obviously you can always throw Gunnar in versus anybody. And then on the flip side, Nate, I love these Mets. Mark Vientos, your boy. You've been touting Mark Vientos since April, so I'll give you credit on Vientos. He's a certified baller, batting second. Love that. JD Martinez, normally batting 5th. They've bumped him up to number 3 tonight with the return of Starling Marte. So that 1 through 4 nades, Lindor, Vientos, Martinez, and Alonso. That's a dynamic first 4 right there. Love those guys tonight, led by Mark Vientos. Like both of these stacks. Not that you need it to ping pong back and forth, but it's a great game stack in my opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. For the O's, you want the fly ball guys, Santander, Kowser, Holiday, Uris, and Adley are the main fly ball guys. Obviously, you can play Gunnar because Gunnar, if he gets on, he's going to steal, right? Same thing. Slater, I wouldn't like. Slater's actually, historically, he's a lefty hitter. But over the course of the season, he has not hit for a ton of power. Over the course of this year, in 110 plate appearances he has this year against left-handed pitching, almost a 30% strikeout rate and an ISO of 0.022. So the power is not there. He is going to be extremely popular, I think, at 2,500 bat and leadoff, guaranteed 9th inning at bats. But I expect him to get no more than 2, maybe 3 at most at bats here because Peterson's, I don't think, is going to make it past the 5th or the 6th inning, and likely that Slater will get yanked before then when a righty comes in out of that pen. So good points there. I really like Jackson Holiday a ton. He's a fly ball guy. He's finally found his groove, right? Struggled. They sent him back down. And ever since he's came back up to the bigs, he's been murdering the baseball. Absolutely love him here tonight. And then Urias wrapping around to the top. And on the Mets, yeah, you said it. 1 through 9 firmly in play for me. Really like that top of the order. Vientos, Lindor, Martinez, Alonso, Starling Marte. Really like those guys. I don't like the back half as much. And I don't think you got to worry about ownership. So I don't mind a 1 through 5 in terms of the Mets here against Trevor Rogers and company.
So where are the Mets coming in ownership wise compared to, where are they? Like top 5?
Ownership outside of Kansas City, outside the Rays and Toronto. Mets are right there with Toronto, San Fran. Ownership outside of Kansas City really is kind of a moot point for bats for the most part. Anywhere from 5 to 8% stack ownership, I would say, on about 5 or 6 teams on the slate outside of KC. So, I think both sides is good here for sure.
Okay.
Next game on the slate, the Rangers and the Pirates. Ortiz on the hill, Dane Dunning on the mound for the Rangers. It was going to be Jose Urena, which obviously you would have wanted lefties against. I don't think the lefties are still crazy plays here. Brian Reynolds, O'Neill Cruz, Tellez, Billy McKinney, if you want a stone minimum guy, if he's in that lineup in the outfield. But overall, this is a game where Rangers, I think, are an interesting stack against Ortiz and a bad bullpen behind him. But, I mean, Corey Seager, great play in my opinion. Adolis Garcia, Josh Young, who homered yesterday or the day before. I saw that come through. I think the Rangers are passed for me in this game, and I do like the Rangers a decent amount.
Yeah, Jose Urena, Dane Dunning. I don't think it matters, Nades. You want those lefty mashers, which would be you alluded to that. So, yeah, any lefty – if you wanted to play the Pirates, I think would be okay. I personally won't be doing it. I have some interest in Dane Dunning. And then on the flip side, I mean, goodness gracious, Corey Seager's popping off the page over here. It would be a Seager one-off for me. I wouldn't go 2-4-6 theoretically with Adolis and Young, but yeah, Corey Seager looks like a dynamite one-off tonight, Nades, just looking at his numbers versus righties at home.
Yeah, I mean, any of these lefties, I mean, Ortiz is just absolutely horrendous against lefties. Over the last month, he's allowed 14% strikeout rates, ISO of 373, and a fly ball rate north of 41%. So can't keep the ball on the ground against lefties, gets a ton of power. Obviously, that fits the script of Corey Seager. Josh Smith has been murdering the baseball, Nate Lowe, Jonah Heim, Leody Taveras, who will also steal bags. I like these Rangers lefties and then stack them around with obviously Marcus Semien, Adolis Garcia, Josh Young, 3 power righties right there. So, yeah, I like Texas quite a bit, and I think they're pretty sneaky here tonight for sure. Next game on the slate is the talking point here. I want to address Steven's point here. Citi Field's not great for offense. I mean, that's the nature of the slate. Outside of Kauffman Stadium, really the offense in the ballparks here are not great across the board. So I'm not putting much thought into that. Usually I'm a huge ballpark guy, but when the entire slate realistically outside of one spot, which is the next game we're going to talk about, realistically, a lot of these parks aren't great for offense. We don't have a Coors Field, right? We don't have a win game at Wrigley. We don't have even the Angel Stadium, which has been producing home runs this year. So ballparks in that, I'm just playing matchups realistically and just accepting the parks, which typically I would put more weight into. So I didn't want to address that comment there. But how much talk about it? KC at home here against Carson Fulmer and company in a terrible Angels bullpen behind Fulmer. Talk to me. Royals, I love these lefties a ton. Absolutely love them all. MJ Melendez should be back in there. He's 3,400. Absolutely love him. My guy, Kyle Isbell. Nobody plays this dude because he bats a lot ninth for these Royals, but all he does is put the ball in play, steals bases. He can hit an occasional home run. He's 3K. I love these Royals. Everybody loves these Royals. I don't think it's mega chalk like we've seen in slates past with Coors Field, etc. But I think this is a really good spot here. I like the Royals a ton.
All I kept seeing all weekend long, Nate, was my boy Darren Blanco just hitting grand slams and bombs. He didn't look like he's going to crack the lineup tonight. But hey, man, the former Vanderbilt great. I can't be banging on my Nashville guy Carson Fulmer. Taking on for this LA team. He was abysmal to start the season. He's been a little bit better, but hey, you're going to Coors Field tonight, 2.0. The Royals are going to be popular and rightfully so. Yeah, you're just going to have to get different with them. Just looking at him. I mean, obviously Bobby Witt would be my favorite play. And then I would get some guys down there in the lower half. If Blanco was in there, certainly get him. Your guy, Isbell, can steal bases and hit bombs and doesn't strike out. You love that. And then I'm locking and loading Lugo. I love Lugo tonight. So no Angels for me, but absolutely would be playing the Royals tonight, and they're going to be popular.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. The thing I like about the Royals is this team just does not strike out, especially against right-handed pitching. Fulmer's not a great pitcher by any means, and Angels have one of the worst bullpens in baseball too behind him. So a little bit of a double-edged sword here for these Angels. Hopefully Kansas City comes through. They're going to get ownership, but again, you can get off the board, right? Go two of those guys in that 7K range, right? Go like a Kyle Harrison, a Zebby Matthews, or a Harrison Stone, or a Dunning Harrison, something like that, right? If you avoid Kikuchi, avoid King, and play the Royals, I think you're instantly different right there for sure. Next game on the slate, Boston Red Sox, Bo Sox coming to town to face these Houston Astros. Kikuchi on the mound, Tanner Houck on the hill here. Astros were chalk all weekend long against the White Sox. Didn't come through at all, realistically. Are you back to the well with the Astros? Any Red Sox against the chalk Kikuchi, who can struggle with some home runs concerns? Tyler O'Neill, Rob Refsnyder, Romy Gonzalez. Those guys are hitting 2, 3, 5. Devers, lefty, doesn't really matter. That guy just murders baseballs. Contrarian Red Sox stack for Hamwich? Yes, no, maybe. Talk to me.
I'm so conflicted, man. I mean, Refsnyder and Tyler O'Neill, 2, 3. Those are phenomenal plays tonight. I mean, they just are. They profile nicely. I have some interest in them for sure. I don't remember the last time I played Kikuchi. Now, he has been a whole lot better. But, man, those Red Sox, especially those two righties and that third one that you alluded to, batting fifth, what's his name? Gonzalez. Gonzalez is hitting bombs too. I love the Red Sox, Nades. I think I'm gonna be a little bit different than you. I know I had Kikuchi number 4, but man, I think the Red Sox are a great play. And then how could you trust this Astros team? I mean, Tanner Houck is a decent real-life pitcher, and we had a NASCAR driver yesterday pitching for the White Sox, and the Astros mustered up 2 runs. So how are you going to play him tonight against Tanner Houck? I'm not going to, but interested to see if you are.
I mean, I would say, obviously, you can always play Jordan, right? Jordan, especially against a righty. And then Shea Whitcomb, I would say, is a value bet. He is only third base eligible now. He doesn't have the dual position eligibility. He's 2,400, but Zach D'Enzo, I mean, these Astros do have some cheap guys. Chas McCormick, right? Jake Myers. The back half of this order is very cheap. I think that gets them a little ownership, but realistically, ownership doesn't matter too much. I respect Tanner Houck enough that I'm not going to get on any of these Astros stacks. I like other spots more. I think obviously one-offs or mini stacks are great. And then in non-Kikuchi lineups, I think I might play a Kikuchi build and then have a mini stack of these Red Sox in my other team as a little leverage situation against my own team. I don't think that's the craziest because I do think there's a scenario where Kikuchi gives up a home run or 2, maybe like a 2-run in a solo shot or something like that, and still strikes out 8 or 9 of these guys. Still gets you a good score, but on teams where maybe 2 or 3 other pitchers outscore Kikuchi and you have those Boston bats to leverage that hit the home runs, the Tyler O'Neills, the Refsnyders, the Romy Gonzalez's of the world, I think that's an interesting way to go. So I don't mind that. O'Neill, Refsnyder, Romy Gonzalez. I will say Refsnyder likely is going to come out after Kikuchi leaves this game and a righty comes in out of that pen. He is another splits guy. So you could be looking at only 2, maybe 3 at-bats at 4K, which is a little scary, but good chance he could hit a home run before that. So I like those guys. Danny Jansen, historically going to hit lefties pretty good overall. So I don't hate some of these Red Sox in non-Kikuchi builds. Really like Tyler O'Neill and Refsnyder and Gonzalez. Those 3 for sure are my main guys.
Hey, but let me ask you this. I mean, obviously everybody's looking at the same stuff, or you would think they were. I mean, how was Kikuchi going to get ownership when – these Red Sox righties especially just profile so well? I just don't see it. I don't see how people are going to play Kikuchi tonight. That's just me. I mean, I guess the Red Sox are strikeout prone. I don't know. I'm torn.
It's strictly Kikuchi's 8,500. He's got a 28% strikeout rate at home this season, and the Red Sox have 25%, 30%, 31%, 31%, 25%, 30% strikeouts throughout their lineup. So, like I said, I mean, there's a scenario where Kikuchi strikes out 8 or 9 of these guys and gives up 2 home runs or 3 home runs and still posts up 25 DraftKings points, right? It's just the nature of the beast, right? You're looking for strikeouts. His price is good. He's $1,500 cheaper than the Michael Kings of the world, right? 1K cheaper than the Seth Lugos of the world, who aren't bulletproof either. So I think it's just the nature of the pitching slate overall. I mean, I think on a full slate where we have other arms, Kikuchi would be a lower owned option. It's just the nature of the slate we have on hand, and it's strictly strikeout focused, right? His strikeout rate, he's got good strikeout numbers. It's always been the case with Kikuchi. If he can limit the power and the home runs and the control, he can pitch a good game. When he struggles with that, he's got to bring pitches back over the heart of the plate, and that's where he gets in trouble.
That's a scary click, man.
I get it. I understand. That's why I think it's interesting. Those three Boston bats are definitely interesting. Obviously, you can always play Devers, but I think that's an interesting route in non-Kikuchi teams or just a leverage, right? It's not a crazy leverage situation. I'm not saying going at 5-man the Red Sox, but 2 or 3-mans, that O'Neill, that Ref Schneider, that Romy is a very, very tasty 3-man mini stack against the chalk Kikuchi there for sure. Next game on the slate, Twins, the Padres, King on the Hill, one of the top pitchers on the slate, 35% strikeout rate at home in a Padres uniform this season. The Twins coming to town. Zebby Matthews, young prospect here. He's been pitching well. Tough matchup overall for strikeouts here, but I don't love this game for bats. I think the Padres, if any side, would be the side I would go to, but realistically, I like other spots a lot more. I think Zebby's an interesting tournament play in pitching. Michael King's one of the best pitching plays on the slate, in my opinion. So no bats for me in this game. Jackson Merrill one-off, maybe. Outside of that, not going to get to this game.
Yeah, another team that just disappointed all weekend long. I think someone on our Friday show said that the Padres could score 17 runs and hit 0 home runs and not be on the winner. Man, this team is just so unassuming, I feel like. I mean, Jackson Merrill is a certified baller, but outside of that, I mean, Bogarts and Machado have seen better days. I will not be playing Zebby Matthews. I don't even know who that is, but I won't be playing the Padres either because they stink. I don't mind the Twins, Nades. I know it's a little bit contrarian, if you will, but I just don't think 10K or, on DK 10-6, Michael King is a good play, in my opinion, but it may come back and eat my words, but not playing him tonight at that price point.
Yeah, I will say I haven't seen anything in terms of pitch count on Zebby. His last start, right, his only start of the year, he got the win against Kansas City, gave up 2 earned run, gave up a home run, but still struck out 5 KC bats there. And he was at home in Minnesota there. Only went 77 pitches, so maybe 85, 90 pitches, I would say. But again, it's just a tournament play for me to get off the Harrison, Chalk of the world, Dane Dunning, who's in that similar range. It's strictly a tournament play. If you're playing the Royals, go in there, throw in a Zebby or something like that, I think is an interesting. This kid does have talent. He does have good strikeout ability. Overall, posted 18 DraftKings points against Kansas City, giving up even 2 earned runs, right? So next game on the slate, Taj Bradley on the Hill, one of the most popular pitchers on the slate in Oakland. Joe Boyle, who you had some interest in. I have no interest in any of these Rays. Brandon Lau, I think, is an interesting play. Christopher Morel, those 2 guys there. Oakland, I mean, Brent Rooker, right? Oakland has power, but man, it's just not a spot I want to get to. It's a terrible ballpark here overall. I like both pitchers a decent amount. Well, not a decent amount, but I think both pitchers are viable. Not a spot I'm going to get to for too many stacks here, but maybe you see something here in this game that I'm not seeing.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, terrible ballpark. I mean, Taj Bradley's pretty good. I mean, he struggled as of late. I'll give you that. But, we've seen 20, almost 30, 28, 31, 36. I mean, the kid, 39. I mean, he's got that in his bag. And not that many pitchers, in my opinion, have that tonight. Now he gets this Oakland team. But outside of like 2 or 3 weeks when you were comparing like all their hitters to Aaron Judge, I mean, they've been pretty bad all season long. So I like Bradley. I'm not taking these A's. And then Boyle is terrible, but so are the Rays. And so Morel, I like your Morel call. Do like that play, but it would be one-offs, Lowe, Brandon Lowe, Lau, whatever. Morel would kind of be the only ones that I'd be looking at. Yeah.
The only thing I will say, Taj Bradley, I do like him a ton too in terms of pitching. I like him more than Lugo and Michael King, I think, at the salary against these Oakland A's. You want fly ball guys against Bradley. Bradley's a ground ball guy, about 60% or 50%, more to lefties for sure. The A's majority, 7 of their 9 hitters all have fly ball rates north of 30%. So they do hit the ball in the air, obviously, hence the power that they typically display despite the bad ballpark. So if there is a case to say against Bradley, it would be that majority of this team is a fly ball hitting team for the A's, but I do still like Bradley quite a bit. And then just low in morale, like I said, on the Rays. Not a game that's too intriguing for me in terms of bats. 2 games left to talk about here. Bad ballpark next in San Francisco. Kyle Harrison, one of the best pitchers on the mound. You brought up Jonathan Cannon. He's not for me. I like some of these Giants bats against Cannon and a terrible bullpen against a team that just absolutely quit. I think everybody's going to see the same thing we just talked about earlier, right? This team just, right, everybody stacked up these offenses against the White Sox all weekend long. It didn't come through. Absolutely zero chance to the Giants. It's a terrible ballpark. No way they can come through against the same pitching staff. I don't mind it. I like some of these Giants a lot. Lefties is who you want first. Lefties destroy Cannon, and then you got power righties, right? The Fitzgeralds, the Heliot Ramoses, the Chapmans of the world. I think this is an interesting stack. They're going to be super low owned. It's not a great park by any means, not great weather by any means. It's 60 degrees out there in San Fran, but I do think this is an interesting spot. I prefer it more as a mini stack, I think, but you could 5-man stack it here tonight.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Giants offense over the last 14 and 30 days. They just haven't been very good. Striking out, 25% over the last 14 days. And I think it's even higher over the last, about 25%. So both, I mean, they can't hit home runs, aren't hitting for average. And then Cannon has been pretty good, in my opinion. He's faced the Yankees, he's faced the Royals, and he's faced, who was the other team he faced? The A's maybe. And, put up 20 against the A's out in the Bay 2 weeks ago. And then was, relatively decent against the Yankees, gave up 2 bombs that hurt him. But with this ballpark, this Giants team, $6,200. I mean, I'm not saying he's a must play, but I say if you built your team on DK and you had $6,200 left and Jonathan Cannon was all you had to choose from, I don't think it's the worst play tonight. I think Cannon goes out and gets 5+ and has 3 earned runs or less.
Yeah, no, go ahead. That's a great call up. I think that's interesting for sure. I do want to go back to a point in the chat. Jose Caballero, I think, is an interesting play too. Like the chat alluded to, the reason I think that is because his stolen base upside. He's got 35 stolen bases on the season. I think you can run on these A's. You can run on Boyle. Him, Palacios, Josh Lowe, Jose Siri, if he's in there, DeLuca, those are your stolen base guys for the Rays. Not quite as crazy as what the Reds are, but did want to address that point. Jake's in the chat. Appreciate you bringing that up there, Jake. Nice thing about him, too, he's 3,500 and dual position eligible. You can play him at third base and shortstop, which is definitely interesting. Wrap it around on the top, too, of Brandon Lowe, Christopher Morel. You got a little mini stack there as well. But, yeah, we differ a little bit. I do think the Giants is just the nature of the slate. They're low-owned, I think. Heliot Ramos coming off a bomb last night, right? You got these lefties that can get to Cannon. Cannon's allowed a home run in each of his last 4 starts, at least one, right? 2 last start. Prefer Giants more as a mini stack, but this team is implied to score over 5 runs despite the ballpark, and overall going to be pretty low-owned on the slate too. So do think it's an interesting spot here. We definitely differ a little bit there. Last game on the slate, Seattle and the Dodgers. Brian Wu on the mound. We didn't talk about him much in terms of pitching. Outside that, we just didn't have much interest in him going up against this Dodgers team back at home. I think there was talks of Max Muncy potentially being back tonight too. I don't know if that's true or if I haven't seen the confirmed lineup out there. He's not in the projected lineup, but Gavin Stone on the hill for the Dodgers. Seattle ripped the cover off the ball all weekend pretty much. Now come out to LA to face the Dodgers and that pitching staff. Talk to me. Is it a Dodgers slate for you against Brian Wu here, who's struggled in terms of strikeouts over the last course of the season, I should say, on the road? Ohtani hits a home run every other at bat, it seems like right now, steals bases. Freddie Freeman. You want the lefties against Brian Wu for sure. So Ohtani, Freeman, Gavin Lux of the world. But talk to me. Any interest here for the Dodgers?
I mean, it's virtually impossible to stack the Dodgers just because their prices are so expensive on either side. I mean, obviously you can play Ohtani, you can play Betts, Tio, Will Smith, any of those guys. And, man, Wu's been absolutely lights out over the last month or so. I would say, he's stepping up in weight class, but, he dominated the Phillies at home, and then he's had the Tigers. And, going on the road, I think you can one off some of these Dodgers, but you can't stack them. I do think the Dodgers win this game tonight. I think it's I do think they get the W. I don't think I'll be stacking the Dodgers because you can. I'll be one off in probably just Shohei if I can get him, and then no Mariners for me, Nades. I look up and down this K percentage on the road versus righties, and I think I see 7 of the 9 guys are in the red. 7 of the 9 are 24% or higher. Everybody's 20% or higher, so no thank you there. Not taking these Mariners, then Shohei as a one-off only for me.
Yeah, no, excellent call. I will say, right, the lefties are where he struggles in terms of fly balls. Max Muncy, if he's in there, is a mega fly ball guy. Obviously, it's a little scary playing him. Would be his first game back off the IL. But Ohtani, another fly ball guy there. Those are really the only 2 guys that are fly ball hitters for the most part in this order, at least projected lineup. So, not going to get to any full 5-man stacks of the Dodgers, just mini stacks only, and then no Mariners for me. That's all 9 games. Talk pitching. Overall pitching's pretty gross, pretty watered down. There's a lot of different routes to go, and then offense is pretty watered down as well. It's a kind of an interesting slate here. I really like that Texas stack, I think, and obviously that Baltimore-New York Mets game is kind of my favorite spots outside of Kansas City. But Hamwich, I'll throw it over to you. Home run call of the evening. Where are you going, man?
I'll go 2 in the same game. Hey, I've been cold, Nades. I think I'm 0 for the last 3 shows, but 50% guaranteed tonight, or the show on Friday will be free. I'm going Adley Rutschman and Mark Vientos. The double deuces, Nades. That's right. I like it. I like it even more. Adley Rutschman batting second. Mark Vientos batting second. We're both hitting a bomb in the first inning. Got to get it out of the way quickly tonight. Give me those 2 guys, each to go yard.
All right. Well, you can pair that up with another 2-banger. We're going 2 to the 3rd power. Elly De La Cruz going to steal 2 bases and hit a home run there tonight against Kevin Gausman. And then my second one, JD Martinez, the 3-pack, right, to bring us home for the Mets. Love me some Mets. Let's freaking go Mets there against Trevor Rogers and company. That's going to do it for our show. Our home run calls, JD Martinez, Vientos, Adley Rutschman, and Elly De La Cruz to round it out. Appreciate all the interaction. Appreciate the comments in the chat. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. And if you are not a member yet, ShipItNation.com. Click on the banner at the top of the screen. NFL package, $2.99 a year. Until September 5th, you get access to all of our site for free, no additional cost. College football included, $299. It covers your optimizer, covers all the football content throughout the entire season for both college football and NFL. That's going to do it, though. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Good luck tonight in those contests. Hope to see those Ship It Nation logos at the top. For Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. We'll see you guys on Friday.